Oh, thank you, sir. Okay, so welcome to the Black Belt Interviews. I'm Master David Hodgson, and I'm so pleased and delighted to say I'm joined today by Master Mark Hutton, 8th degree, from East Cobrad. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir, yes. Originally Bathgate. You know, I don't know if you can see, but I have Grand Master Sutherland with us on the wall here. So my original club was Bathgate under Grand Master MacCallum, actually.
Okay.
And Grand Master Sutherland. So I was very blessed. I was very fortunate to walk into that dojo, you know.
Fantastic.
This is Jodie.
Hey, beautiful, sir. I would have my dog here, but she's not quite as well behaved. So we'd get
everything I can is trained, sir.
Yeah.
Makes life so much easier when we're trained, you know.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%. So yeah, fantastic. Thank you for joining me. We're at your
pleasure. Thank you.
We're at your full-time dojo, aren't we? That you've been there for a number of years now.
Yes, we've been in East Cobrad. As I say, I started in Bathgate 42 years ago. And there was Grand Master Sutherland who was taking the beginners classes at that time, with Grand Master MacCallum's club. And yeah, we came here to East Cobrad in 1989, and here to the full-time centre I'm in just now in 2003. So this, however, was only built. This used to be changing rooms.
Okay.
And during the pandemic, took the opportunity to make an online studio, as it were. You know, so and we dedicated that to Grand Master Sutherland, who unfortunately lost in 2019. So next door is the Choi Dojang. It's the main dojang. This is the Grand Master Sutherland dojang. This is Dojang Sutherland.
Yeah.
So it's our second one. So yeah, we're very, very blessed. We're very blessed.
That's fantastic, sir. Yeah, I mean, I never thought of naming a dojang, but what a wonderful thing to do, and obviously reminds people constantly of the influences on you.
Yes, very much so.
But so you started way back in 1981?
I did, sir. Yes, I did. Yeah.
From a family, you come from a family involved in fighting arts, don't you? Is that right?
Very much so. Very much so. My father has 12 brothers and sisters. You know, and they're all in some way. Sorry, one second. In some way, they're all either boxing or judo or karate.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I was very heavily influenced in judo and karate, and my father was very much into boxing. He was a very, very good boxer. My father, very good boxer indeed. And one of my cousins was just excellent karate. He was asked to go to Japan as a junior to train in Japan. So very much steeped in those things. You know, very much a mining family. You know, hard working, hard drinking, hard living. So they all could look after themselves. They all had a real interest in keeping physically in good shape. You know, so yeah. I was told, encouraged very much not to do taekwondo.
Okay.
Not to do taekwondo. It's quite funny because I saw an advert, and the advert was Taekwondo Tom packs real punch. I'll never forget it. Because it was Grand Master MacCallum, and I can remember. Because it was like this, and it was like a double chin, and I can remember them all saying, "Look, taekwondo guys are fat. Go to karate or judo or boxing, but those taekwondo guys are useless." So I joined taekwondo. I joined karate.
Yes.
Did a bit of boxing, but not much. I joined karate, but I have to say, I was expecting. I love karate, sir. I'm a huge karate fan, but I was expecting a lot more kicking. You know, my uncle, who was only a couple of years older than me, was living with us, and he brought with him Bruce Lee. You know, posters all over the place. So I had saw clips from Enter the Dragon and Way the Dragon, and I can remember Dragon whips its tail. So that Bayadolio Chage, wow! I went to karate. There was none of these things, so I was a little bit disillusioned at the time. I was very young.
Yeah.
So when I did eventually go along to taekwondo, I was blown away. Grand Master Sutherland just absolutely blew me away. And it's funny because the thing that really blew me away with Grand Master Sutherland was I always remember her, and she was just working with such ferocity, with such power. And I never once thought she was a 5 foot tall lady. I just saw this black belt and it was just like, wow. That was it. from that point, sir, I was obsessed. Yeah, I was obsessed. So.
Yeah, fantastic. So not the path that maybe the family expected you to take, but you discovered.
No, not at all.
Bruce Lee's influence was there once again, as it is for many people, and you discovered Taekwondo, and obviously connected with the instructor. So what degree would have Master Sutherland been, Grand Master Sutherland been at the time?
Grand Master Sutherland had just graded to 3rd degree.
Okay, yeah.
Grand Master Sutherland, yeah, just inspirational.
Yeah.
Really, you know, she never tried to be inspirational. She just was, and she was just so driven. You know, I believe I'm correct in saying that she tried twice to join the Bathgate club, and they said no.
Right.
You know, when I joined, there was no juniors really. It was all seniors then. So we're talking about 1977, I think, or 76. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember properly when Grand Master Sutherland first went to the club. So initially it was no, you know, but of course perseverance. She persevered. She eventually joined, and she really just took off from there. Yeah, she really did. So when I went along there in 1981, the influence of watching her and training under her was just exceptional. It really was.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was a massive thing to get me joined to start. Because as I say, watching those films, or seeing those films, and just getting a belief in what martial arts were was incredible.
Yeah. What a combination! Fantastic to meet someone.
Bruce Lee and Grand Master Sutherland, you know, they were the real combination for me.
Yeah, and so training would have been pretty tough back then.
Yes.
Hardcore.
Well, to be honest with you, for me, it's just always been tough.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very much a tough love type of person. I believe to empower anyone that you have to push them beyond the limits they believe themselves they can go, or they can't be empowered.
Yes, sir.
If training is at the pace of the individual person, then they'll never realise their limits. They'll never realise their potential. A good instructor is someone who, number one, who cares with a passion, with all their heart about their students. You know, we love our students. I love my students. I care for them so much that I push them beyond belief. You know, I kick their backside. I hit everybody, and everybody hits me. You know, so we have that real bond that comes along with that. So I believe very much that training should be pushing yourself to your limit and beyond, you know, as often as possible. But I'm a great believer in that, sir, for sure.
Yeah, of course. And that stayed with you since day one?
Yes.
Yeah.
The training, they were all 2-hour classes. They were very heavy on fundamental movements, very heavy on that, you know, line drills. But we didn't have what I see as a massive problem in today's martial arts, which is timing. You know, sir, you're what, 6'1" or so?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so how can a 6'1", 6 or 7 degree have the same timing as a 4'6" yellow belt at the back? So it's one of the biggest problems we have in modern day taekwondo. We talk about timing. That's a nonsense. The timing is in between the movement, but not the movement itself. So we should be continuously looking to explode, because the vast majority of taekwondo movements are traumatic movements. They require maximum velocity. So to push yourself to continue to be the best we can be, to train intensely, physically and mentally, taekwondo fundamentally is, we've got to keep exploding. So this timing situation has been taken to a level that has held us back. So the fundamental movements then were up and down the hall, but as powerfully and as much dynamic energy as you could muster. Not a timing, not a relaxed raise drop. The lax raise drop, which has destroyed the credibility of the vast majority of taekwondo that I see on the floor today. You know, so the training was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. Yeah.
And some of the things, yeah, fantastic. And some of the things you're talking about there, you bring them across in your trainings that you've done, obviously in your dojang, but seminars that you do across the world, and obviously through the TKD coaching site, you're making this point, and these principles you're talking about, keeping it explosive, keeping it real.
I'm very much, It's not about just going on the floor and exploding. Of course it's not. You have to understand the mechanics. You have to understand the tuition behind it. But my philosophy is first unleash the beast. You know, you don't start with technical nuance to define detail. You don't start by telling someone they have to all, you know, get to a timing situation. You have to train these individuals. You've got to maximize their mental and physical training. We have to stick to the rules. What are the rules? The training secrets. You understand the theory of power. You know, you pick the correct attacking tool for the vital spot. You understand your angle and distance for attacking defense. But first and foremost, you maximize your own potential from the day you start to the day you die. That's behind that. You have to be the very best that you can be. And then we take the training principles and we apply it to the beast that we're unleashing. So mentally and physically, you know, we are working from here. And throughout our young life, into our middle-aged life, to our older life, we're maximizing physically, but we're maximizing more mentally and emotionally, understanding our own self and the different, you know, situations that life throws at us. That's why we're martial artists and we don't just do MMA. You know, we'll just do kickboxing. These things are wonderful in their own right, but they are not martial arts. They're not fit for life purpose, as it were. You know, so we should be undoubtedly maximizing our physical potential, but also understanding emotionally the emotion behind the motion, as I always like to talk about. The emotion that we have has a motion that goes along, you know, a mentality that goes along with it, an emotion that goes along with it. So the martial art fully explode them. So it's fit for purpose, it's fit for everyone. And that's what I'm a huge believer in. And we go to competitions, then great, we've got that coach mentality, we have that you know, win at all cost mentality for sure. But it comes from us as instructors. We're coaches as from the instructor perspective. You know, very much. So that's why we have the etiquette and the courtesy that goes along with it. We're not throwing the toys out the pram when we lose, but we still want to do everything we can to win. So for me, it's a martial art. It's not martial art first and sport second. It's martial art, of which the sport is very much a part of that martial art. And at some point, and for me, it was the first 20 years, it was all about the sport. I didn't realize it at the time, but all we did was sport. We went everywhere to win, you know, for sure. But there comes a time where you have to understand that, you know, as an instructor, how you evolve beyond the confines of tournament only. You know, you understand that that for sparring, for example, it's a game. It's how we play. We don't fight. Taekwondo ITF don't fight as we spar. It's a game. But MMA, they fight how they spar. There's only one trick pony for Muay Thai, which oh wow, what an incredible art form. But fundamentally, what you see is what you get, which is explosive, which is brutal, which is brilliant. But if you ask a Muay Thai person or an MMA guy to defend themselves, they defend themselves how they train. And that's wonderful. But a taekwondoist, you specialize in your Ho Sin Sul for your street defense, and your mentality switches and changes depending on the discipline you're doing within your art. But sparrers have to know and not look to change the rules, for example, which is very much going on just now, to change the rules too much, because we spar to show the skill, the mentality, the tactics, not the brutality. Never the brutality in ITF Taekwondo, which is why we don't do full contact, which is why we only kick and punch to a certain part of the body, which is why our judges, and we're only human, but for me today, our judges are as good, if not better, than they've ever been because of the training they receive. And that's Master Sutherland, Grand Master Boss, which so many things are. But we're not looking to be brutal on the floor. So let's stop talking about, you know, the excessive contact all the time. And let's do what Taekwondo ITF sparring is made to do. And if you want to punch and kick harder and do full contact, brilliant. Go and do kickboxing, go and do MMA, go and do all of those things. When you step on the floor as an ITF sparrer, you step on the floor understanding this is about skill. This is about tactics, explosive energy, and yes, the control not to cause the damage. So,
no, fantastic, sir. Just listening to you there, you put it across so well. I'm sure lots of people listening and watching can really pick up on the things that you're saying here. Is this something that was with you from your early training, or is this, like you said, you've become an instructor and you've discovered?
No, we evolve, my friend. We evolve. My early training was My early training, my goodness me, I was so afraid to fail. I was so afraid not to be good enough that I'm sorry. I spent a lot of time not training on the floor, but training when I went home.
Yeah.
You know, because I was too afraid to look poor. I was too afraid, you know, not to be good enough. So
Yeah,
Grand Master Sutherland thought, he's never going to last. This guy's never going to last.
Yeah.
So I used to fake injury, just
Okay.
so I would. So Grand Master Sutherland would stop pushing me. You know, I would be on the floor. You know, she'd be saying, you know, that leg is not straight as it were. I think this is my hamstring's been a little bit sore, and she'll roll up a bit. She'd be like, okay, fine. But really, I was shy. I was so super shy. I was so afraid. So I'd go back home and I would train in my room non-stop. So the next night's training, I hoped to be better and I could do more and more and more. So I had to really work on my confidence level. That's why empowerment is the #1 key thing for me. When I'm teaching, if you came to my dojo, there's glass doors to enter, there's glass mirrors, windows everywhere. Everywhere, as soon as you walk in. That way people can see what's going on and it's less intimidating for them. So my entire mindsets are around empowering people is the understanding that most people would love to be so much more than they are. And the reason they're not is not they're not capable, is that they doubt themselves. Yeah. So that's where that really comes from. So the mentality for me, once I became a lot more confident, Bathgate was all about myself and Grand Master Sutherland and myself as her assistant. Driving the competitions, winning everywhere. You know, it was all about winning. So I only wanted guys to walk in through my door, male, not female. Yeah. Not female, not fat, but fit. Yeah. Because it was all about winning. Yeah, yeah. And when I look at those first years, I understand that I wouldn't be where I am now without that. But my goodness me, we so did not do the job we were supposed to be doing. We were not looking after those who were not competitively minded. Or who would never stand on the floor, you know, with a black belt on to fight international tournaments. Because back then, sir, that's all we were doing. Yeah. All about winning, all about building a team that would win. And I remember it's funny to say not female, given that Grand Master Sutherland is very much female, you know. But that was the thought back then. And then came along different ladies as well who were just so excellent or so driven. We started teaching younger and younger people. You know, so people like Julia Cross, Matthew Boyle, Paul Sutherland, Brent Lyon, these people all became national, international champions in their own right through Bathgate, you know, and we drove them every single day. The club, we trained every day of the week and we just pushed them and they just responded so brilliantly well. And we first started traveling to different tournaments, kickboxing tournaments, karate tournaments, different styles of taekwondo. I don't mean WTF to ITF. I mean, there was Imperial Taekwondo, there was Global Taekwondo. There was just so many Taekwondo groups. You know, TAGB didn't form until 84 really, and they grew on from there. So we were competing with everybody. We didn't keep to just, you know, the one thing, as it were, which is why, again, modern Taekwondo needs to really slacken off, needs to really work with each other. We've got to compete with each other, train with each other. You know, they're Taekwondo brothers and sisters. Yeah. Please don't ever stop anyone from training with somebody else. You know, please, go train with everybody. Go train with everybody. Loyalty to your instructor is not training with somebody else. Loyalty to your instructor is a two-way street. Yeah. You know, if your instructor is a confident, strong instructor, and hopefully they will understand why you want to go and train in different places. You know, and why you want to bring people in to train. But make sure that the path that you follow is one where you're courteous, where you're open with your instructor. You know, I guarantee your instructor is the one who got you there. Your instructor is the one who got you off the street in the first place. They're the one who helped you through so much. If you're a decent person at all, and if you're a black belt, you should be more decent. You should be a good person, which is courteous and respectful. Then you'll never forget what your instructor did for you, and your instructor will realise that, and that'll be a more relaxed relationship. But you want to go and train with as many people as possible, in my opinion. Yeah. There's always a home in your dojo, but embrace everybody. That's my thoughts, anyway.
Yeah, no, very much so. I'm hearing that from many of the masters, grandmasters I'm interviewing. They share a similar thing of what you're explaining, and you know, some of them we did a podcast for, sadly, the passing of Grandmaster Jong Soo Park. Speaking to his dedicated students, people would come from miles around, you know, travel to his dojang to train with him, and what an experience it was for them. Like you say, they take that back to their resident dojangs and have more to share and to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one was more fortunate. I never got a chance to train with Grandmaster Park Jong-soo. And I did meet him in 1986, my first foray into international tournament in Canada, and just an exceptional individual. And what a all-round wow type of person is a pioneer. But we were massively fortunate to have Grandmaster Rhee here. Massively fortunate. He instilled in us the Korean terminology. He instilled in us those etiquettes to how to move forward, how to train as an individual to become a black belt. So, you know, Grandmaster Rhee, Grandmaster MacCallum, Grandmaster Sutherland, you know, and beyond Grandmaster Rhee, General Choi himself. So that's my training.
Yeah.
You know, General Choi, Grandmaster Rhee, Grandmaster Sutherland, MacCallum, Grandmaster Sutherland, and on to myself. So I'm massively fortunate, just pure chance to have that pedigree.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them were my inspirations, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. And I need to add one more person to that, which is Grandmaster Boss. Because in 1992, well, 84, I saw Grandmaster Boss for the first time as an angry individual, punching and kicking and slapping and pushing his people to success.
Yeah. And
that resonates with me. But go on 8 years to 1992 in Pyongyang in Korea, where I saw Grandmaster Vim Boss for the first time and got a chance to speak to him. And invited myself, Master Wallace, I think it's Master Wallace, maybe Grandmaster, I don't know, Master Wallace, Gordon Wallace, who was an exceptional individual and a real inspiration for myself as well. What a black belt, what a guy. But invited us to Benidorm in 1992.
Yeah.
First met Grandmaster Willie van der Mortel. Wow, what a guy. Grandmaster Koos van der Heuvel from Holland. Of course, they were very much part of Grandmaster Boss's team.
Yes.
And we trained for 3 hours a night for 3 nights, and he killed us. I mean, he just killed us. I mean, there was nothing left of me. Breathing was so painful, I can't tell you. And that was a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
We couldn't step off the path. We couldn't step off the pavement onto the road. Master Wallace and I, we were trying, but no joint would bend because it was that painful, you know.
Wow.
Night. And we invited him, Grandmaster Sutherland, who was always looking to bring better people in different disciplines. That was one of our greatest strengths. What an incredible instructor, what a powerhouse, what a wild individual. But her ego was, come on in, teach us. Come on in, we want to learn from you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Grandmaster Boss arrived in 1993 to Marco's Leisure Centre in Edinburgh, and the tournament, come on. From that point there, Stefan Tapalatu, I met him in 1993. Stefan, one of the all-time greats in sport taekwondo, but not just sport, his mentality as well. He's a martial artist, you know.
Yeah.
And the family Tapalatu, my goodness me, Bianca with Julia Cross, Bianca Tapalatu and Julia, that massively helped us bring Julia on. You know, we trained Julia from when she was 10 years old till she was 21.
Yeah.
You know, from white belt in Lithgow to second degree black belt. And Bianca really helped Julia. They really fought off each other. So they really helped each other gain greater heights. And Bianca Tapalatu, what an exceptional black belt. Miss Cross, come on, the single best individual, sport competitor ever. You know, when I taught Miss Cross, you know, the need for her to win was insatiable, absolutely insatiable. You know, and I had the same. I just wouldn't stop training, and she just drove every day. We trained every day together. Yeah, and Bianca Tapalatu, she really helped that.
Right.
Have you ever heard of Patty Tapalatu? Have you ever heard of Django Tapalatu?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
These are the cousins of Stefan. You know, so Stefan and Bianca, of course, brother and sister. Django and Patty, the cousins.
Patty, yeah, I remember Patty. Yeah.
Master Tapalatu. You know, Landon Tapalatu, wow. You know, what can I say? These people are these are taekwondo royalty. So I was so fortunate to train beside these people. Magda Tapalatu, who is Miss Magda, who is Stefan's mum. She brought us into the house. She fed us. She gave us somewhere to stay. You know, these are the things that got me where I am today. Yes. Family Tapalatu, family boss, Tiziana Momoki boss, Grandmaster Boss's wife, Tiziana. What a lady, a black belt herself, a second degree herself.
Yeah.
We trained with in 1986 at the second IIC, under Grand Master Pat Junte, Carmine Kayatsu, Grandmaster Kayatsu, Giovanni Cecchinato. Just these are the people here. These are my childhood, as it were, in Taekwondo. Yeah. My inspiration. We trained together, we fought together, we sweat together, we smacked each other silly. You know, got kicked all over the floor by them all. The madams to do the same to them, and that's what my training is today.
Yeah,
you understand? We go on the floor and we inspire each other step by step to go for it, and that's part of what I am. That's my pedigree. So to Grandmaster Boss, to Tiziana Moki Boss, to Tapalatus, you know, these are the people who really lifted me, you know, through there. With Grandmaster Sutherland, Grandmaster MacCallum. So that's my friend. That's what I'm so grateful for today. You have to excuse me. I'm a little bit like Billy Connolly. We start somewhere and we go off into different places.
No, this is great. This is
you know,
perfect. Yeah, I'm really enjoying.
Talk for Scotland, you know, but I'm so grateful to them all.
Yeah, no,
so grateful to them all.
I was lucky enough. My first visit to Scotland was to Bathgate, to the championships.
You won the sport.
UKTF, yes, and I was a belt competitor. And obviously, we saw your team, TKD Sport, with the blue tops, and
everybody back then.
and we saw the guests. The Tapalatus were there.
Oh yeah,
the whole place was just spellbound. I think
it was jumping, wasn't it? It was absolutely jumping.
Yeah.
So Django Tapalatu. Django did a lot of WTF sparring. Him and Stefan got, I think, silvers in the World Championships, and to do that, you had got to be wow. You really have to be, my friends. You really have to be. Patty was world champions, Bianca world champion. But these are the people here that they came along and trained with me. But you cannot get more humble, nice people who will knock your damn head off. Yeah. And for me, that's the ultimate. They're humble, they're courteous, they're hands round you, they'll take you step by step. And the more you hit, the harder they'll hit as well. And they take you step by step to be the very best you can be. And so that's just all I want to be for my guys, following their example. You know, but I need a big shout out to those people. You know, wow. So I'm so glad you were. I remember you guys coming up from England. You know, back in the day, we had that great rivalry going all the time, and the Irish coming across. You know, the Irish and the Scots and the English just kicking lumps at each other.
Yeah.
Fabulous. It's fabulous.
A lot of lifetime friendships were built from that.
Yes, sir. Very much so. Very much so. You know, very much so. I so appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. You know, to reminisce about these things. Very kind of you.
Fantastic. So obviously you mentioned General Choi as well, didn't you? You obviously met him, trained under him.
I can't tell you the influence that he had on my life. I was just purely by good fortune. General Choi took me under his wing. He had me demonstrate on the floor many times. My greatest memories are my times there because of who General Choi was and what he did for us all. But General Choi went to the floor to demonstrate, that just, first of all, it scared the hell out of me. It was the hardest Sayuchurugi that I ever did, let alone the other things he had me doing. Even demonstrating a punch. But if General Choi says, this is how it should be done, then he tells you to go and do it. You question yourself for everything, even your chumbi position, you know. I had a few conversations with him that lasted a couple of hours, just him and I. Wow. Because I was driving into places and I was waiting in the airport and that with him. Yeah. And those conversations they're the drip feed conversations. When I'm teaching, I teach drip feed. I tell my people all the time that what we're saying right now won't all come across in everything. But you'll look back over the weeks and the months and the years to come at these talks, you'll start to understand more what we mean by these things. That's the drip feed situation. Yeah. And General Choi's conversations, there's so many things that I heard back then but didn't fully understand. I didn't even realize myself I wasn't understanding it. But as the years went on, I go, oh, goodness me, that's what he meant by that. That's what he meant by that. And I was massively fortunate to have him, invite me to Canada to be part of the CD-ROM, all these kind of things. These are the things that I'll never ever forget. His influence on the floor with Grandmaster Pat Junte, come on, talking to him and just getting him sitting down, just talking to me like a regular human being, showing me the pain, all his broken bones and the things he was going through as he was demonstrating in a different country virtually every day as he was spending all over the world. These are the things that you don't forget easily. And you remember when you're going through those things, when you're demonstrating things and doing seminars, of course not to the level of Grandmaster Pat Junte. We aspire to do so. But you remember how he went through the pain. Just before on the floor, he'd been sitting thinking, and then lights, camera, action, let's go, and away he would go.
Right, yeah.
Things I always remember, no matter how tired I am, whether I'm in New Zealand, I'm blessed to be, or whether I'm in Whitburn, which is just along the road from me. People might only see you the once.
Yes.
You better be the best.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Was Master Park Jun-tae probably one of the best, or the best that you saw or witnessed, or one of them?
Sir, Grandmaster Rhee told me many years ago the best, in his opinion, was CK Choi. He said that CK Choi for him was the best.
Okay, yes.
He was his favourite. And we all have different favourites depending on what if you'd asked me 20 years ago who I thought was the best, they still are the best, but they're not always the very best, because we evolve in our mentality as we go through. Grandmaster Pat Junte was just wow. Pat Jun Su was wow. Riki Ha. Grandmaster Riki Ha, I never met a more impressive physical presence than him. CK Choi, I didn't get a chance to meet Grandmaster CK Choi. Saw the things he did and listened to the stories from Grandmaster Rhee. So just wow. But when you see Grandmaster Rhee doing the things he can do, it's very hard to be even more impressed than that. But watching Grandmaster Pat, yes, his knowledge, his understanding, his ability, and his brutality. Grandmaster Pat, there's no slouch at just saying, get it done, shut up, get it done. And see, if you don't have much time for you. Don't have much time for you. I saw him do things with the Italians in '86, where he ripped them to bits, had them screaming in pain, and would laugh.
Right.
Laugh as he was doing it. So you can't underestimate. The bottom line is, I'm here where I am today because I will push through the pain. And I think it's massively important to understand pain. There's good pain and there's bad pain. There's pain that you can manage and push through. There's other pain that says, okay, we've got to stop at this point here and find another way forward. That's massively important. And that's where the martial education comes in. That's where fit for purpose is massively important. Fit for purpose is not as fit for the purpose you're doing at any given time. Whether it's pushing motion, pressing motion, slow motion, continuous motion, explosive movement. You've got a different mentality and understanding for all of those things. It's not gung-ho all the way. But there are times when, through understanding and education, hey, get it done. You're going to be sick. You set down your top, get to the bathroom, get cleaned up, get back on the floor and push forward again. And so,
very much.
When I'm pushing my people on the floor, that some of my people at some point are looking at me and they can't stand me. They can't stand me. They're just absolutely they want to just. And if I'm not doing that, if I haven't pushed them too far, I've not pushed them far enough. So if your people are always in love with you, if you're always only the calming influence, I'm sorry, you're missing a few tricks. At times, I'm the calming influence. At other times, I am pushing them and saying, you know something, get it done or take your damn belt off, hang it up on the way out, and don't come back until you're ready to push hard enough to wear that belt again. So that's the instructor part of us. And we have to take our students and push them to places where normally they wouldn't go themselves. And at other times calm them down because they need a little bit of downtime, so that there's those different parts to what we are. So as I look at the very best people, Pat Junte undoubtedly very top shelf. Pat Jun Su very top shelf. Grandmaster Boss very top shelf. Grandmaster Now for his knowledge understanding very top shelf. Grandmaster Lan, his way to bring things across very top shelf. Grandmaster McPhail, come on. As that rounded master, now grandmaster, he is my guy. I'll look to him for so many things. Stefan Tapalatu, just wow. You know, Paul Germain from Canada, come on.
Yes.
Just wow. You know, Thomas Barada is just a machine who keeps on going, keeps on giving again, just wow. Those kind of people there. Tony Sewell, Kim Stones, you know, Kenny Walton, you know, those kind of guys there that came from ITF and TAGB, just wow. And there's so many others that I'm sure I'm not even thinking about just now that I go, oh, Matt, you forgot to mention him. But there's so many people there.
Yeah.
You know, David Ingles is up here. You can't really see him. It's Grand Master Sutherland's kicking.
Right.
And on the wall here. I don't know if I can, don't know how I show this. You have to excuse me, I forget where my, is that this camera? Is that what it is? Is that one there maybe? That's David Ingles there. David Ingles was Grand Master Sutherland's partner who she absolutely beat to a pulp all the time during the demonstrations. You know, these are the people here that massively, I just watched them, incredible people.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. But Grand Master Patrick Taster, to answer your question again, after 10 minutes, yes.
Yeah.
No one better as an all-round martial artist, I think, on the floor, just wow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Obviously, he's in the encyclopedia.
Yes.
Many times, and I don't know if there's much actually out there on YouTube about him, but there's.
No, there is. But of course, he broke our hearts. He broke our hearts when he formed Global Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Again, I understand that a lot more now than I did at the time. You know, General Choi himself, very hard taskmaster, and you mess with General Choi and he'll cut you. You're cut. You know, and he didn't build what he built throughout the world by just being soft and blasé and all sunshine and rainbows. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Park went a different way. So very, very sad to see him go that way. So we missed out, and I missed out. I didn't train with him. I trained him once when I went to Global.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but I'll be quite blunt. At the time, he was not very complimentary at all to General Choi, and I didn't like that at all. So I stopped going to his seminars at that point, and I'm not meaning in any way to put him down in any way whatsoever. I'm just saying why I stopped going to seminars at that point, because I want to go and train. I didn't want to go and give political statements.
Yeah.
You know. So I miss Grandmaster Pat Junke, definitely.
Yeah.
You know? And of course, the state of the ITF after General Choi died is most unfortunate. But more so because people like ourselves, or groups, don't mix enough. We've got to mix more.
Yeah.
Got to mix more. Please don't tell me I need permission to go and train with somebody in England. Please don't say that to me. Please don't say that to me. You know, my dad told me it's okay. I can go. So, you know, I've got a passport. I'm 18. Yeah. I can go. Please don't tell me I've got to write to someone for permission to tell me I can go and train with somebody else.
Yeah.
If you want to call that a political statement, call it what you want. I say we as martial artists, Yeti, Yomchi, any Gokchi, Bekyo, Buyo, doesn't mean to say you restrict freedom of movement. Going to do a grading from somewhere else, permission, yes. You've got to be careful with those things. But not going to do seminars, not going to go and do training, whatever else the case may be. Please, that's just silly. It's unfortunate. So let's hope we change these things very, very quickly. General Choi made it very clear. I don't need General Choi to tell me this. You teach every race, creed, colour, ideology without any fear whatsoever. You go and teach everybody. You know, so if I can go and teach kickboxing down the road and go and do kickboxing down the road, I'm damn sure I can teach someone who's got an ITF badge a little bit different from mine.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So that's the big thing in my belief system. We've got to train together, be together, and work together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Once again, sir, I'm speaking to a lot of people on my podcast, and higher graded people, many years Taekwondo, different organizations, but they're all saying the same sort of thing. They would want to see some of the barriers come down, want to see more people integrating.
There shouldn't be any barriers. How can I go into my floor and tell my kids, you know, hold on a wee second here. If you hear someone saying, you know, they're Catholic and they're Protestant, because in Scotland, as I grew up, I didn't grow up with any racial situations going on because everyone was white or blue in Scotland because we don't get that much sun, you know. And then more and more people came from Pakistan and so on and so forth, you know, and we integrated so damn well. But it was always Catholic and Protestant. How do I go on that floor and say to my guys here, you can wear your Ranger strip, you better wear your Ranger strip, you better wear your Celtic strip. I don't give a damn what you are. Everyone's welcome along here. What am I going to say to them when they say to me, sir, I can't go and train with those people? Why? Because they're not part of our group. But so you always told me to be inclusive of everybody, not exclusive. Yeah, but include everybody, just don't include them. Come on.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Any child that you teach will tell you that that's double standards in the worst possible way. I cannot empower someone if I don't practice what I preach. That's the single biggest thing. So we do ourselves a massive disservice. It's a stain. Yes, I'm using that very clearly. It is a stain on us to not have freedom of movement no matter what the situation is, and invite anyone in. 2009, I was celebrating 20 years in East Cobrad, and I asked Grand Master Rhee to come along here. And so many people told me I was wrong to do it. They tried to stop me. I said, well, expel me if you want. But I'll give you even better than that. In 2000, the 90s, I was told not to teach Stephen Cooley. You know who Stephen Cooley is?
Yes, I do, sir, yeah.
I was told not to teach Stephen Cooley. I was not taught to teach Mark Buckley, Adrian O'Mahony. These are all great, excellent masters in ITF TKD, yes?
Yes, sir.
You might have heard of the ITA in Ireland,
yeah.
One of the very top groups in the world, yes?
Yes, sir.
Well, at that point, these guys weren't in the ITF.
Right.
So I was told, if I go back and teach those guys, we'll expel you. You have to remember, there's only one ITF back then. I'm saying, sorry, I don't want to be expelled, but these are good people who, by the way, would love to be ITF as well.
Yeah.
So, no, you want to expel me, you expel me. So it's still the same today for me. It's not any different.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, you go to good people, you teach and you train. As long as they're good, decent people, it's massively important that we go and we do that. I believe I could go to any group I want to go to. I stay where I am. I believe in the people that I train with. You know, but we have wonderful people in all the groups.
Yes, sir.
So let's just work together and train together. And I'm not saying all come together under one roof. They'll have one single group. I think we can easily form an umbrella. Yeah. As Grand Master Master was, who said to me many years ago, he's always good with these kind of things. He would say, you know, we could all just come together for tournaments, make the world tournament to be, and have an umbrella for all of these things, so we can compete together, we can train together. You don't have to pay your money to the same place to be certified by the same place. But there's many ways we can come together. But that doesn't start until there is no barrier in who you train with, no barrier in who you teach, no barrier in who you're taught with. That's massively important.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So today we have the people like Master Stephen Cooley, who's just a phenomenal guy, and one of my best friends over all those years, and a guy who just shows us how it's done so many times on that as a coach, as an instructor. He's just wow. But back then he wasn't ITF. Right. He became ITF quickly, and he's thank God he is part of our group, because it gives so much. I'm just giving examples of if we had back then said, know something, we can't teach you. I'm not saying they wouldn't have joined ITF, but who knows where they might have ended up. Yeah. Follow me? So unless we extend the hand all the time, then we should be always inclusive and not exclusive. Always.
Yeah, yeah. Like you say, sir, this is a principle of life as well, beyond martial arts.
Yes.
Into the real world and everyday life, isn't it? This is what you're talking about.
For me, sir, yes. For me, sir, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is great, sir. Thank you so much for sharing so much with us, with me.
Again, I'm sorry, I go on and on and on. I do beg your pardon, sorry.
This is perfect stuff.
I get a little bit passionate about things, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that comes through in a lot of your training, doesn't it? You're very direct and passionate, and you lead by example, and that's obviously why you're so popular across the board, regardless of affiliation, association.
Yeah, I do my best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love who I train with, my friend. I get inspired by these people all the time. For them, they've only got one person trying to inspire them. But me, I'm standing in front of 20, 50, 100, 200, 300 people. So I'm getting inspiration from so many people. So I leave more inspired than they do.
Right.
I can assure you, which is why it's massively important for me that, that we understand, even more so today, that this martial art, the sport is part of our martial art. It's not martial art first and sport second. It's martial art. And the more we do this martial art, the more we enhance the sport as well. And if we come together, you know, and really up our training together as martial artists, then we all learn and we all benefit so much, you know? So,
yeah. No, 100%. I mean, like you say, rather than looking at these disciplines that we do, the patterns, the sparring, the power, seeing as separate things, they're all one part of the whole.
Plus, now I have no issue with someone just want to do sparring or just want to do power or just want to do in the competition. We've got to make sure we're training them all, you know. But listen, at one point, I only wanted to spar. I didn't want to do pattern.
Right.
I wanted to do pattern. And then I learned, I became more educated, and then it changed from this way to that. Then I just wanted to do pattern all the time, you know. But if I watch pattern today, I'm sorry, but most of it's rubbish. Most of it's rubbish because it's far too slow. It's not explosive. It's not dynamic. They're not in the shape they should be in. They're not. We've got people here who are so damn good, but they're restricted so much because of the rules for me. They're afraid to lose balance because if you lose balance, you're going to lose. But as a competitor, you must do what the coaches tell you to do to win. Yeah. But the way it's set up is very, very poor. We have trained a generation of people to be afraid of competition pattern, not to encourage them, to inspire them to excel, like they've got to do in the power breaking and the pattern and then sparring and then the overhead. No, pattern is just worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's weaker and weaker and weaker. We're not seeing people kicking dynamic with a real ferocity. It's not, you know, you sit and watching, it's damn boring. Where taekwondo pattern should be inspiring. Should be people on the floor there who are just doing things that are wow. You know, jumping reverse turning kick and this, that, next thing in duty reduced to a skip back piece of nonsense. Yeah. So no, pattern is not good. It's not in a good place. I'm not saying there's not good people out there.
Yeah.
That's so. If anyone's taking that from what I'm saying, then you're looking to take negative from what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the way we're teaching pattern for competition is poor. It's soft and it's weak. It's not explosive. It needs to be dynamic. You've got to have pride in what you're actually doing. And the people on the bleachers should be saying, you know something? I don't really enjoy that much in pattern myself, but goodness me, wow, is these girls in shape. Wow, look at that girl. Look at how explosive she is. Look at how explosive he is. That's incredible. They've really lifted the standard. I haven't seen that in pattern for a long time. It's robotic, and the kicking in particular, not just the kicking, but the kicking in particular is done in a way to make sure you don't lose balance. So the foot on the floor rotates round. The hip's not into it. So it's done like a gymnastic way of doing things. Yeah. It's soft. And in the movements themselves, it's all about the end result. So there's nothing deflective, there's nothing dynamic and explosive in it, and it doesn't work. It's not fit for purpose. So competition pattern is in a bad way. Competition sparring, different, you know, because they're encouraged to go out there and be faster and fitter and stronger. I like some of the thoughts of Master Sutherland and so on, so we can really reward high stuff. Yeah. I don't like people talking about clinching and so on. They don't have the understanding of what taekwondo sparring is. Should never ever clinch in taekwondo sparring. It's about tactics. That's why we have 9 square meter rings to show the tactics properly. There's a reason behind that. So a bit more education for some of the competitors there. Not harder contact. Yes, I agree. They're black belts. The judges should be letting some of the contact go a bit more than they do. I agree with that. But if you're at 45 degrees going forward then and you're hurting someone, it's your own fault. And please remember this, as a competitor, if you're getting a warning in the first 20 seconds, then brighten up, smarten up. You've got another 2 warnings to go before you're disqualified. So if you haven't learned the lesson of what this referee is telling you, it's your own fault you lose. Please don't go on social media and tell the world you were robbed, because you will. And again, if you're a martial artist, you won't do that. You won't complain like that. You won't throw the toys at the pram like that. This is my thoughts on competition just now, sir. Across. Very, very important for me, as at the 8th degree, 7th degree, to say this. Please train harder, train fitter, push yourself to higher limits, especially in pattern. But sparring, power breaking, and overhead, but special technique, they're all getting better and better and better in many ways, and patterns stagnating and patterns going back. So we have to change how we look at the pattern. Be more dynamic. Someone who's a little bit of balance, not the end of the world, so long as they're given real power, real energy, and technique that actually works. If they're keeping within the confines of the movement so they don't lose it, then lose the martial arts spirit. Please stop rewarding people who are afraid and making them champions. let's encourage people to inspire them to go on the floor there and give everything they've got. If you haven't went too far, you haven't went far enough at times.
Yeah.
So that's my real feeling on tournament. I think the competitors of today are wow. I love watching them, but I'm not inspired by the pattern in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
One or two people, of course, they're wonderful. They'd be wonderful no matter where they went. But the average level of pattern is way below where it should be. We are far too good to do the soft nonsense that we're doing just now. And if we change it now, within 6 months, you'll see the very same people on the floor doing it right now, and you'll see them elevated to levels that I'll be going, wow, come on, that's inspirational. Yeah. So I am not putting down the competitors. I am saying masters, seniors, coaches, let's get together and lift that level and watch our competitors fly. That's my thoughts, sir.
Yeah, no, so I think your message is coming through loud and clear. These things, and you're making sure we're hearing you clearly rather than confusing it with some sort of thing. You're saying be objective to Taekwondo, the patterns. You have to be objective to what you're trying to perform rather than just letting it follow its own path, which is getting into more artistic, gymnastic kind of.
Where that came from, not artistic. Come on. It's artistic when you do it right.
Yeah.
When you explode, that's beautiful. When you do it soft, it's not fit for purpose. I wonder what you're actually doing. You know, if you look at what the pattern actually means, research what the pattern means and see that person who suffered and died for what they actually, you know, and then you're not honouring that person. You're not honouring, you know, Ho Sin, for goodness sake. Wow, what he went through. You're not honouring any of the people that the actual General Choi, the Korean patriots that the pattern's named after. So let's do the martial art properly and then go on the floor and honour them properly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're very good at putting things all together rather than seeing things as of themselves, taking their own kind of form, bringing it back to the home of, like you say, the history of the Taekwondo patterns, the interpretation, the principles of General Choi's training secrets, and like you say, keeping it real, fit for purpose, bring it back to where it should be. Yeah.
Sir, I love karate, but we're not karate. But if I look at karate in general, they're more explosive than we are. And your average person is more fit for purpose in karate than that Taekwondo, not in here. Not of grandmaster bosses on the damn floor and things like that. So, you know, I think we should really take leaves out of those books and get ourselves moving. As I said before, if you want to do harder contact sparring, do it in your dojo. If you want to do it in competition, choose another competition, because that's not what we're about. It's a different mentality.
Yeah, and so you teach very young, don't you? You teach very young students. I teach very young students. You have your Cubs program.
Yes, sir.
You know, how important is it to teach these youngsters?
Massively important. And my Cubs program informs everything going through. And it's simply this. I never reward physical skill in Cubs. I think you're making the biggest mistake when you give out all these badges for best punch, best kick, best block. And I'll tell you why. You want to encourage the spirit and the mentality. Effort and attitude builds champions. I'm not saying it's not good to say you've got a great this and a great that and a great the next thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. But you don't make your children's programs about physical skill. If you make it about emotion, if you make it about bringing the best out of yourself, not being afraid to fall over, embrace your mistakes, that kind of idea, then the physical skill will be massive later on. In fact, it'll be massive straight away. Why? You're removing the fear. You're removing the fear, the emotional fear of making mistakes, of not looking good. You're removing that. So the physical skill is massively enhanced right from the get-go. So stop getting on the floor and grading people physically. Get on the floor, making their bed, tidy the room, speaking with a calm voice to those that love you. You know, make sure they're not grading unless the teacher at school is giving you a good report on their behaviour. Make sure they're not grading unless the parents and grandparents and the carers are telling you that they are great, they're nice to their sister and their brother, their mother and their father. So you're building that mentality from a very early age. No one under 16 can go through any grading in my school unless I first got 2 signatures, one from the school and one from the parents or the grandparents. And when I don't get the school, then I re-represent it in 10 days. They talk to the parent talks to the teacher. It's very often the first place to find out there's a problem at school without having to wait for the parent-teacher thing that's going on. And there's a better communication that's going on there. And the teacher loves it when they've got a little bit more authority with the student that can help them behave better in class, get on better in class, because getting on better in class is higher grades. It's higher understanding of education and learning. So my children's programs and all my programs are about mental first. That's the martial arts, sir. So stop putting out their badges for the best kick and the best block and so on and so forth there, and start putting out their best for the attitude and the effort. This way I've got autistic kids in my class, I've got all different learning disabilities in my class and physical disabilities in my class, up to a certain level. Those who can't be in the mainstream class, I've got different classes for them.
Yeah.
But I am more inclusive than ever before, because it's not about how high you can kick, it's not about how hard you can punch, it's about how much heart you've got. And we appreciate effort and attitude. So my black belts know that whether they're a champion or not doesn't make them the best black belt. Now, you asked me the best individual, and I gave you people like Park Jun Tae and Park Jun Soo and so on, but they're also the best because of their humanity. They're also the best because of how they have put taekwondo all around the world to everybody, sir, no matter who they were. So that, for me, sir, is what my children's programs and my Cubs program. I'll be blunt, I've never seen a program like it anywhere. It gets results everywhere, and it's more inclusive for everybody, and it helps the parents. The parents understand it. Listen, yes, they love football. Yes, they love gymnastics. They love dancing. They love rugby. They love whatever else. But you don't go to the football, the dancing, the gymnastics, or the rugby coach when your child's having a problem. You come to us.
Yeah.
Taekwondo is not a sport. It is not a sport. Stop talking about the sport of taekwondo, because when you understand the martial art, you understand how we build a better society, how we build a more peaceful world. Yeah. These are the understandings, the training secrets and the oath. They must be in there as a warrior spirit to train us. And when we can't be bothered, that's what lifts us and pushes us forward. When we're feeling sick, that's what gets the head up and pushes us forward. That spirit, that effort and that attitude. The physical comes from that. It is not first. Stop thinking I've got to get the guy sparring the first night, punching things the first night. If you inspire them, they will stay with you. So that's what my kids' programs do, but also my adult programs. And sir, I once stopped someone going for their second degree because they didn't do housework. They told me, started off as a joke, but they told me that it's women's work. And they told me this. Ooh. And they were serious. They didn't go for his second degree. How can I put someone forward for second degree who genuinely believes there is something beneath them? So we got some talk. We spoke with his wife, and over a few months, they got an understanding of how important it was to do all manner of things. And he went for his second degree many months later, and he went as a much better rounded person. You know, so some will think, "Oh, that's crazy." Believe you me, I find it really helps everybody. If you're not making your bed and tidying your room, you're not a black belt, not a proper black belt. So that's where it starts from. So that's my kids' program, sir. Effort and attitude builds champions. And kindness, kindness, kindness. Not the calm voice. I started with the calm voice. It's still in the book. But I've changed that now to kindness, because you can be a calm serial killer. All right? But when you've got a kind voice, what's the difference? That. It's a smile, it's an emotion, it's a way of being. So for me, sir, kindness, kindness, kindness is the most important thing we instill in everybody.
It's coming through loud and clear. So you'd say everything counts.
Yes.
Not just
massively.
What you do in the
massively.
Day. Everything counts.
I'll give you one last story. Maybe it's rather out of time. I'll give you one last story. So I'm standing in the European headquarters in Poland at the time with two wonderful, wonderful people, who is Master Loboda and Master Yedin. All right? These are exceptional people. Way beyond just the champions that have delivered over the years. That's not what makes them wonderful people. But I did point out and just say, as they show me all the people, and they would say, "Mark, you remember this, and you remember this, and you remember these guys?" And I say, "Yes, no, sir. Yes, but one of the things I've learned is so many of these wonderful champions are no longer here." That's where I learned that I was overlooking the very best people in taekwondo, the people who will perpetuate taekwondo going forward. They're always there at every bake sale, fundraising event, tournament to help out, to set the place up, grading to help hold the boards, to make sure the kids are ready. Now, yes, all of my champions also do that because of how they're brought through. But if you look at the champions today talking about we're going to lose people from the sport of taekwondo if we don't make the rules better, that's the wrong people. That's the wrong people. From 1987 to 1990, 86 to 1990, I wasn't allowed in the European Championships and the World Championships because we were thrown out of Taekwondo at that time.
Right.
We were thrown out of the ITF. But
Yeah.
we stayed on our own until we got back in 1990 and 1991. Point I'm making is we didn't just leave and go somewhere else because I couldn't go into competitions. And I know I would have done well in those years. I know I would have.
Yeah.
However, it was 1993 before 1990. I got back in 1990. Then I wasn't allowed in 91. I wasn't allowed in 92. I was back in 93. But I never left Taekwondo. I never went somewhere else. Never went somewhere else. So if someone's telling you the sport of Taekwondo, they'll leave the sport, then let them go.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're not the black belts we want to raise. That's not saying they don't have valid opinions. They definitely do. That's not saying I don't agree with a lot of what they're saying. I definitely do. But I'm not going to be blackmailed and saying we're going to lose all these people. We won't lose the right ones.
Yeah.
We won't lose the ones that will be in 10 years, 15 years' time, making sure the kids of then are coming through and benefiting from everything that they were learned, they were taught years later or years earlier. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, sir. Yeah. Yeah, very much.
That's where I am with how we teach and how we educate from there. Effort and attitude, kindness, kindness, kindness. You know?
So we're grounding them from the day one.
I believe so, sir.
And
I believe so.
building them from the inside out at the grassroots level.
Yeah.
Not allowing them to get into this kind of, like you say, this kind of way of being where they can just take it or leave it.
Our people, Mrs. Mackenzie, Miss Willis, have been for all those years. Doesn't matter what they were winning. The next night they were back on the floor teaching.
Yeah.
That made all the difference. Made all the difference. You know, if I look there at what Miss Crossy's done in South Queensferry, and she's got some of the very best people that I see in modern Scottish Taekwondo right now. Not just because they're winning, but the way they are. You know, like Sabu and James Brown, you know, and young guys like Michael. Mr. Lobbin, where are you? What's Michael's second name again? A wonderful boy. Michael McRoberts, those people. Miss Crossy's got those people, you know, just wow competitors and wow as young black belts.
Yeah.
When I see how they teach and how they do, that came from how we did all the way through. You follow me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know? So that for me is a true test of how we are as instructors. You know, this is my son, my oldest boy.
Hi, sir.
So Mr. Lobbin, so proud he's on the floor doing incredibly well. But he's also here every day with me teaching from the kids all the way through, you know. And we teach in the schools, we teach in Glasgow Academy, which is a huge school in Glasgow for us. And the reason we're in there is not because of Taekwondo physical, it's because of how we teach Taekwondo.
Yes.
How we're inspiring, empowering them, skills for life.
Yeah.
Taekwondo is skills for life first. Skills for life first, you know. So yeah, that's what we're doing. You know what?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we're all proud.
Fantastic. Yes. So family is important to you.
Oh, sir. Let's face it. And family, of course, family has a very different look for many of us. But the principle is the same. The principle is the same. You know, we're a family up here. We're an MHF family up here, and it's not just lip service. We are tight. We look after each other. We're there for each other. Your own family, your own brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles and aunties. You know, if you can, love them. You know, be with them if you possibly can. And if you can't, give them some respect, give them some space. Hopefully life is a marathon, not a sprint, and we can, you know, at some point get a bit closer again. But yes, family, you know, and treating people like family is massive for me.
Yeah.
You know, it certainly enhances my life.
Yeah.
I've got people on the floor teaching for me that I just love them to bits. I'm so proud of them. You know, they inspire me, and hopefully I do my very best to try and keep inspiring them. So yeah, that's the kind of family I'm talking about. Whether it's been my oldest boy's second name is Lobbin. You know, I came to me when he was 4 years old. It's my stepson.
Yeah.
You know, he's my boy.
Yeah.
You know, I've got two other children. Neve is 18, and Ronan is 13. Their second name's Hutton. But it doesn't make them one iota different from the Lobbin who was standing right here. You know, so I'm blessed with those three kids. Absolutely blessed. And what a step family has taught me. You can say, you know, yeah, it should be this way, it should be that way. But when you live the life, it really does show you how it really has to be.
Yeah.
You know? So being a stepdad to Jack here, to Mr. Lobbin, is massively, massively, it's taught me so much in my life.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it. Just as teaching special needs has.
Yeah.
Jack here, Mrs. Mackenzie before him, Miss Willis before him. We did the autistic program, special needs programs, and wow, that opened my eyes.
Yeah.
I remember asking for one of the instructors in here, our chief instructor here for Marshall Fit, it's Tracy Blake, and Tracy has 3 wonderful kids, and her boys have autism and so on. And when I asked her for some advice, she said to me, she says, you know something, if you teach one autistic child, you teach one autistic child. In other words, it's the same no matter who you're teaching. We're all different, you know, emotionally, physically, we're all very much different. Of course, there's certain things that are more helpful, but the main thing that's most helpful is kindness.
Yeah.
Okay, where you're teaching the most physically skilled, the most emotionally switched on, where you're teaching different needs, different ways, if we take our time, show patience, show kindness, you'll be a damn good instructor.
Yeah.
You'll be a damn good instructor, and they'll be forever grateful. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And that's fundamentally where we are. Kindness, kindness, kindness. But my instructor have taught me so much. Teaching special needs just lifts you.
Yeah.
It really does. You know? So yeah.
No, I agree with that, sir.
All the way, my friend.
Yeah.
Remember the next time when you see me do something, I've got my face looking like I'm ready to kill somebody, or I'm shouting at someone. You know, it's coming from here. I promise you. You know.
Of course, yeah, no. I know that now, sir. Of course.
Yes, okay.
And so you're always in great shape. You physically. What do you put that down to? Just continual training.
Yeah, you walk the walk. You walk the walk.
Yeah.
I train every day.
Yeah.
Just, you know, we had a class this morning, but I train every single day. You know, sometimes much harder than other days. I think it's very important to listen to your body. It's very important to do so. But when you're feeling good, give it everything you've got. When you're not feeling good, breathe, be a little bit more Tai Chi like, be a little bit more like modern taekwondo pattern. You know, but be consistent.
Yeah.
You know, be consistent, breathe and enjoy what you do. Taekwondo is very much there for life. And it's one of those things you don't buy a puppy just for Christmas, it's for life. Well, taekwondo is the same. Yeah. And sometimes we're right hand in hand and we're powering on. Other times we're a little bit further away, but it's always there to help us through things.
Yeah.
You know? So I train every day, my friend. I keep myself in the best condition I can. I love it. I love training really hard, sometimes soft, but I just love. I'm not as good as I need to be. I'm still trying to improve.
Yeah.
My friend, the 57 is not in any way old. You know, so yeah, I love it. So I do believe in being in shape, very much so. You shouldn't be overweight.
No,
you shouldn't be. And if you are, you know, because of many different factors, that is not in any way putting you down. No chance. But don't accept it as, and that's just the way it is now. Don't. You know, always look to improve yourself. Always look. I'm always, you know, I'll get a few pounds heavier and enjoy that. You know, and if okay, Mark, it's time to get a little bit tighter again. Get a little bit tighter again. So if you're a size 14, if you're a size 16, hey, let's go towards a size 14. For size 18, let's go towards a size 16. You know, if you're whatever you are, let's go towards that. That's why we have a grade system in taekwondo to continue to improve. So let's do the same with ourselves, mentally and physically, all the time. Let's just look to make a little bit more of an improvement. You know, so I believe in that. And if you're doing that, then your shape will get better and better and better. And your average level will rise up and up and up. So for me, for example, I'll go from, you know, just now, I'm quite low. I'm down 7, 8, 9% body fat. I'll go up there to 11, 12. Then I get to 13% body fat. I'm going, okay, Mark, you're going too far now. Let's come back down to 12. So let's come back down maybe to 11.
Yeah.
I've went a little bit low right now, so I'm a bit lower than I normally am. So I think sitting there around about the 9, 10, 11% range keeps me in the condition that I love to be in. But I do go up. So that's what I'm saying right now. If you're really out of shape, if you're really overweight, if you're really stiff, hey, not a problem at all. Let's just take it step by step. A little bit more of flexibility. Please, you can talk to me at any point. I'll help with anything you need. But do not think to yourself, I'm old now, so no. Just keep going a little bit better, a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, keep inspiring yourself to be a little bit better every day. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, fantastic, sir. Such an example and an inspiration, as always. I spoke to Grandmaster Boss. He talks about training in a similar way. He's still in great shape. 69, as I understand it.
Grandmaster Boss is one of my heroes. I don't use that word lightly. Grandmaster Vim Boss is just wow. It's just really as simple as that. An absolute warrior, you know, but emotionally, the change he's made over the years. He'll tell you he's an angry young man, you know, and Tizana, his wife, would certainly help calm that as time went on, but he worked on that so much and evolved and grew. And that's why back then he was that degree and now he's this degree. He's a very different person from where he was before, but always inspirational, always wanting the best for everybody, always, you know. So yeah, he's one of my heroes. He's done that so much too, for sure.
Fantastic. Okay, sir. Well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
I've really appreciated it. It's been wonderful sitting here listening, and I'm taking it all on board. I'm feeling inspired. I'm looking to go start my training today. And
listen, I have the entire syllabus. Myself and Mr. Lobbin here, 2 terabyte video over the whole lockdown, from white belt to 6th degree, right the way through how we do it fit for purpose. So at any time, my friend, you can get hold of that syllabus and we'll help you fly. Who it actually is. So anyone look for any help at all, tkd.masterhuttonfitness.com. Come and talk to us and we'll help you with anything you need.
Fantastic.
I look forward to talking to you guys.
Okay, sir.
Sir, thank you so much for taking the time today and listening to, as Billy Connolly says, my inane drivel as I go on and on and on. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too. God bless everybody. God bless. God bless. Thank you. Take care, guys. Take care. Take care.